And we're back.
Yes.
Flight Podcast, episode 6.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
It's great to be back.
Always, always. Today's topic, we just gonna hop right up into it.
Yeah.
Today's topic is community.
Man.
We're gonna talk about community, what that means, and how we as people can make the community matter. What actions can we take to actually have a resolution for some of the issues that we see within the community? So that's kind of what we want to talk about. I know a lot of people talk about all the issues. Oh, it's always this. It's always these street people. It's always gentrification. It's always police in our neighborhoods. It's always robbing and killing and stealing. But nobody really talks about what we can do to ensure these things don't continue to happen.
Mm.
And so that's kind of what we want to talk about. Yeah, we want to talk about what we see in the community, but we also want to talk about ways to build a better foundation in the community. Again, y'all should go get my book, Focus to Wake Up. I kind of talk about community and the importance of community, so you can kind of dig into that and get some more information and some resources on how we can become better as a community.
Yeah.
Straight like that.
Yeah. And, they used to say it takes a village to raise a child, which, of course, I really do think that's true.
Absolutely.
I remember back when I used to get lectured a lot about behaving poorly or something like that. I would get told, oh, if I was this and if I was acting like you, I go home and my uncle beat my butt and my mama beat my butt and my daddy got home and he beat me.
Yeah.
But minus all the beatings,
Right,
it still
right,
takes
right.
a lot of structure and guidance.
Absolutely.
And speaking of what we're talking about today, I would like to say maybe it does start in the home. I mean, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's important to know your children. I think that it's uber important in order to be a in order goodness in order to be able to, that's a mouthful right there.
Right.
In order to be able to properly direct them, you need to know them first. You need to know what type of child you're dealing with, what that child's struggle points is, what their strengths are, so that you can build on these things. It's important to know your children's friends. It's important to know who they hang with, because when you let your kids go outside, they're building connections with other people.
Yeah.
You don't know what type of things are being taught to these other kids that your children are hanging out with.
Right.
Now, I know when I was growing up, I was hanging out with some people who was teaching me some stuff that I shouldn't have been getting taught when I was in 4th and 5th grade, but I was being taught these things with my community.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's why I say it's important for you to talk to your children and find out what they know, and be open-minded. And when I say be open-minded, don't come at them in a harsh kind of manner. You need to know what they know. So you need to
Right.
open those gateways. I think that is really important too, because parents will say, "Oh, you can talk to me," but I know my parents didn't make it comfortable for me to talk to them. I
No.
didn't feel like I can talk to them about anything, and so I think that we as people need to be a little bit more approachable so that these kids are more vocal about what's going on. I think that's super important as well. We got to protect these kids, y'all. We really, really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also knowing what your kid is like consuming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whether it be social media. I mean, I'm not saying control them and all this, but just be aware that
Yeah.
they're listening to certain songs. I was walking by the pool a few days ago. A couple of kids, little black boys in the pool or whatever, and I'm walking by, just minding my business, and they said hi to me, but he was like, one of them said, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm all right." And the other one was like, "Yo, what up, gang?"
Right.
No, I'm cool with sir, but yeah, that's the type of stuff that they're into.
Right, and again, that's why I say community plays a big part. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in villages or not, these people are raising your kids. Your kids go outside, they're hanging with people. They go to school, they're hanging with people. These people are helping to shape the way your child views the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you would want your community to be filled with people who care about your children. So I think it's important that you build relationship with your neighbors and the kids of your neighbors, and make sure that y'all kind of looking out for each other, because it's up to us to guide these kids.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we like to walk the property. No matter where we live, we're gonna walk the property. So we're always outside walking, and when we're walking, we'll hear kids like you know, at the pool, and they'll, hey, how you doing? And they'll speak. And then the next thing you know, you'll hear MF for this and B word that and
Mm-hmm.
A word this. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, yo, like, you a kid and you
Right.
talking like that. Like,
Right.
that's why I say it's important to have a village, because we'll say something like, "Yo, you don't need to be talking like that, bro. You're not gonna talk like that in front of me because you're a child,
Right.
and you're gonna conduct yourself as a child in front of me. I don't care if you don't know me. It's a respect thing.
Right.
Now, I'm not gonna pretend like I wasn't the kid who said bad words when when I went around my parents, but I wasn't gonna say it in front of other adults because I
Right.
had a sense of respect." And
Right.
I felt like if I said it in front of those adults were gonna go tell my parents. And that's what I mean when I say sense of community. We need to get back to getting to know each other as neighbors, as a community, and looking out for each other's kids in the sense of right and wrong.
Right.
You got to know who your children are around.
Right. And then
Period.
having a level of discretion too, for the kids. You can't talk about everything in front of the
Oh
kids.
yeah, oh yeah,
I
that's
see
big,
people about like all the time, like they hear everything. They're
man.
listening when you're thinking they're not listening, and you could just, man, who was that? It was a teacher on TikTok, and she was just talking to her kids before class started, and one of them asked her like, "Hey, so are you a lesbian?"
Oh,
Straight up. I mean, maybe they got it from the internet,
maybe
or
they heard
what?
it somewhere.
Yeah.
But again, like I like that you brought this point up because this is a huge deal. Back in our day, you would get told to get out of grown folks' business, go in the
Oh
room.
yeah.
But in this day and age, kids and parents are besties,
Right.
and that's where the line needs to be drawn. I understand that you don't want to be like your parents. I get it. I get it. But you have to draw some kind of line. There has to be some type of structure, some type of boundary, because when you don't draw those clear lines, there's a lack of respect in a
Yeah.
sense, and they don't see an issue with how they talk to you or how they portray themselves in front of you or what they hear out of your mouth because they feel like, well, we cool like that.
Yeah.
I think it's important to create boundaries. You can have fun and joke with your kids, but you still need those boundaries. Now, growing up, my parents, my dad, he played a little bit. My mama, she didn't play. Okay,
Mm.
she made it very clear. I'm not your little friend. I'm not one of your little friends. You're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
handle me, talk to me like that. I'm a grown woman, and if I call my mama, if I be like, "Girl," she be like, "Who you talking to?" And I be like, "Mama, I'm grown."
Right.
But she be like, "I'm still your mama." So again, she drew them very clear lines, right?
Right. Right.
And so I get it where you don't want to be super strict because my mama was kind of strict, but again, structure. But if you don't want to be super strict like that, create boundaries of some sort so that your children are not running over you. They're not in grown folks' business. They don't know too much before they should, because that's how your kids grow up too fast,
Right.
and that's how they get introduced to things that they shouldn't be introduced to at certain ages. But you need to definitely have a relationship with your child so you can know what they know
Right.
and you can make sure that you are properly steering them. Again, strengths and weaknesses, you need to be able to know what those are so that you can make sure that you are doing what you need to do so that they can be the best version of themselves when
Sure.
they go out in the world.
Yeah, I'm glad you said something like that earlier because I was thinking, even the parents need a break. Everybody goes through life,
Right, right.
but having those external sources of external good sources like mentorship programs or just good role models for the kids, so they don't always have to look up to someone who's on TV.
Yeah,
And
that's big.
yeah, as far as community goes, you know, that's totally up to us. And I wonder if anyone is really angling. I mean, I know there's one brother to brother. I think it is. It's in Dallas. It's just guys, taking kind of like a big brother role to a lot of kids, and that's very constructive. But I mean, it's probably a very small organization. Not a lot of people have heard about it,
Right.
but just stuff like that. They're going on camping trips and getting funding and donations for all this. Um, but that's just one organization. There should be so much more.
Again, it goes back to community. Like, what can we do as a community to make sure these kids have a future?
Right.
Because let's be real, the crime rates are going up. There's more people being incarcerated. There's more people committing suicide. There's more people robbing people. I mean, we have to be more active in the community, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this. Let's be about it. Not only talk about it. Like, how can we create communities? Like when I say create communities, I mean like how can we create little groups that go out into different communities within a big community and talk about ways to make things better. Talk about meeting up and, having mentorship programs. Maybe we meet once a month with, people within the community, and we talk about and we brainstorm on ideas of how to bridge the community and educate the community and support the community. I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Just kind of going around and talking to people and trying to see, where their mind is as far as community. And if you find some people that are on the same realm as you, they're going the same routes as you might want to link up and be like, hey, let's start, just powwowing ideas. Let's have a pool party and invite all the kids from the apartment complex. And while they're there, let's have like a theme of what we're going to teach them, or kind of, help influence them to see, like, hey, have you ever thought about gymnastics? Have you ever thought about boxing? Have you ever thought about, there's all kinds of little things they could be getting into instead of being out here on these streets, man.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. And I think it starts with us as a community. I don't have children, but I love children. And one day, me and my wife, we're going to have children. But right now, we don't have any. But we're really big on mentorship and raising kids and making sure they have stable homes, and making sure that they understand the importance of good work ethic and being respectful and entrepreneurship. I mean, we don't in school we didn't hear anything outside of doctor, lawyer, teacher, athlete. There's so many other career fields, and if these kids know about these things earlier, they can plan better. If I would have known in middle school that there were all of these other options, hell, even high school, I would have probably taken a different route.
Right.
Life helped me take that different route after I was already grown. But if I would have known that these avenues existed when I was still in grade school, I probably would have, taken a slightly different route than what I took.
Right. And like you're saying, there's so many more, careers and things of that nature. And in order to achieve that in our community, it's important to like break out of the box, like you were saying.
Yeah.
The athlete box and the
Doctor,
lawyer box. Yeah, that's a box that we all just all kind of conditioned to hearing. And just like I didn't find out about Microsoft Excel being such a crazy tool that people just know that one thing makes six figures just from working Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
It just takes networking and breaking that community curse of, oh, I don't want to F with them, and I don't trust nobody, and I don't want to fool with too many people and all that.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that point up, because I was talking to a friend of mine. This was a while back, and we were talking about putting people on and what that's like. And like I said, I'm real big on resources. I love giving people information. I love helping people find avenues to get to where they're trying to go. So I'm not that person that's like, oh, it needs to be known that I put you on. Like, no, this ain't about me. And I think that's one of the things that our community struggles with, is trying to make things about us and looking for accolades and looking for praises, when we should just be trying to help one another.
Right.
As a community, we should be uplifting each other. We should be helping each other get opportunities. We should be helping each other network and connect. But we're normally doing the opposite. We're competing.
Right.
It's sad when we compete with each other when there's several other races competing with us.
Yeah.
We need a sense of community within our own community. We're not each other's enemies, but that's kind of how we play things.
We stay kicking each other out.
Yeah, kicking
each other out.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to get past. And I think that creating a sense of community will help alleviate things like that.
Yeah.
That won't be a problem. When you create a foundation, you design some goals, you say, hey, here's what we struggle with as a community. There's a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of gang-related stuff going on, XYZ. All right, plan of action. What can we do to help us stop these things? Let's get out here and let's talk to these people. Let's talk about the importance of not dealing with this. Let's talk about the importance of our children. Let's talk about the importance of their children. Because some of these people in gangs, some of these people running gangs, some of these people on the streets, they got kids. You want your kids out here doing this stuff? You want your kids dead or in jail? No. So how do we change it? Right? Yeah. I get it. You in the streets, you making your money. Cool. Let's figure out a way to turn that from your illegal money to your legal money. Get out of that. Yeah. I get having a hustle and trying to figure out, make your ends meet. But what is your 5-year plan to get out of that? You want to be a hustler looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life? No. How can you turn that into something legal to where you have a sense of community and you have something to give back to your community. Start a trucking business. Hell, CDLs is a need now. They need licensed drivers. Get your CDL, get your trucking company. Drop these loads. You got dudes that be saying, "Oh, I make $5,000 a week." Okay, you can go drop a load to Houston and make that in a day or two.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but if you don't know that's a thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
You don't know that's a thing.
Right.
I gotta get out here and hustle because that's the only way I can get it like that. Nah, you can get it legally like that.
Right. And not only that, you're talking about get out there and hustle. Let's be real. Let's be real for 1 second. Who are you getting it from? Who are you selling to? Okay? And this is where the poison starts, okay? Because for some reason, let's talk about red line, right?
Mm-hmm.
You red line a community, and so outside those lines are, let's say, the ghetto, right? What they call the ghetto. And you can do some research on the ghetto and how that actually started. They boxed us in, right? And then they took some jobs away from that area. Yep. Okay? And so and it stems, right? And this is all part of design. It stems out. So where there's no financial, potential to gain, there's financial lack. Okay? Where there's financial lack, there's no resources to learn how to be financially responsible. Yep. So now you got pawn shops in your community. Now you got liquor stores and Rent-A-Center. You don't see Rent-A-Center in Frisco.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't see no pawn shops in Frisco because there aren't any.
Nope.
It's on purpose.
All on purpose. I mean, even furthermore, we can talk about liquor stores and hair stores and how these people of other ethnicities are coming into our communities, setting up shop and profiting off of us, and we're pouring into their pockets. This money could be going back into our own communities so we can expand our communities. Yep. Let's talk gentrification. I mean, we're talking community. Let's talk gentrification. They come into our communities. They spike the prices. They force us out. They move in people that don't look like us, don't act like us. They adopt our lifestyle. They glorify the lifestyle we once lived, and now it's trendy. Now it's fashionable. Now it's, let me go get my soul food collard greens at Soul Troll. But you go inside and nobody looks like you. Right. And the greens have chicken in it. Raisins. Come on. Oh, sorry. God forgive. But no, for real though, like it's like, and it's a spoonful of collard greens, and it's like $10.99 for a side. It's crazy, but we allow these things to happen. We don't do anything about it. Yeah. I talk about how we have a voice in our community we don't use. Go to the city council meetings. I plan on being active. I'm going to city council meetings in this area, in this district, because I want to know what's going on. I want to know where the money's going. Right. I'm that person who gets emails from the city of Dallas every quarter to talk about the budget and where the money's going, because I want to know. Yeah. It's our right to know. We pay taxes. We're tax-paying citizens just like anybody else. Right. If you go into these high-end communities, you go into the suburbs, they go to these community meetings. Oh, yeah. They go to these city council meetings because they want to know where their high dollars are going.
They take off work to go to these meetings.
Hello. We don't even show up. So they might build a prison right down the street from your house. You're not showing up to oppose it. Therefore, it's going to take place. Yeah. You got to figure out how to get more involved. You got to figure out how to make sure you're involved, make sure your voice is heard. If nobody is showing up on our behalf, nobody's going to be looking out for us. No. You need to know your community leaders. You need to be more involved in the local elections, more involved, because these are the things that actually affect you. And you'll hear people say, I'm not voting. I'm not going to vote. I don't vote in the presidential election. Okay, cool. Well, if you ain't going to vote in the presidential election, at least vote in your local elections, because that affects you even more. Yeah, directly. It directly affects you because that is local. So speaking of, the governor election is coming up in November of this year. Early voting starts in October. Voter registration closes in October. Please register to vote. Yeah. Please get out there and register. And beyond that, research the candidates. Absolutely. See what they stand for. Don't take my word for it, because I'm going to tell you not to vote for Greg Abbott. But that's my personal opinion. That's my opinion. I have my reasons for why I'm not voting for him. Right. But I want you to do your research and figure out who the best candidate is for you. Mm-hmm. But he ain't it for me. So I need something different. Now, if you don't know, he's been the governor for the last, I believe, 6 years or something like that.
minutes.
I believe he served like 2 terms or something like that. He's been in for a long time, guys.
Yeah.
This has been the governor of Texas. This is the governor who passed your open carry law
That nobody asked for.
that nobody asked for. And
Nobody
let's
asked
be
for.
real, crime has increased.
Right.
Since. So let's just be real. Now, I'm not against guns. I believe you have the right to bear arms, but you have the right to bear arms reasonably.
Right.
You don't need military weapons. You don't need machine guns. Come on, bro. What?
Right.
I just feel like there's certain things that need to be restructured, and he's not the man for it. I mean, think about these things. You just went through one of the coldest winters. Your governor allowed you to go through one of the coldest winters and have not done anything to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Didn't he go on vacation around that time?
He went on vacation. Senator Ted Cruz,
Oh, Ted Cruz.
which
That's what I'm thinking about.
he will be up for re-election, I believe, in 2024 or 2023. Vote him out. Ran to Mexico, lied and said he was dropping his family off, but he was found to have bags
Yeah.
along with him.
Well,
I want Ted Cruz to come find me. I want Ted Cruz to see all the tweets I make about him because he is not a good person. He's not.
That's crazy. These are our
Research
leaders,
them,
people.
man.
These
I'm just
are our
saying,
leaders.
research these people. These people are running away from the problem.
Yeah.
There was a child who died during the winter storm who was left in a trailer with his mom in South Texas. He was like 7 or 8 years old.
Wow.
You think the governor or the senator did anything about it? You think that they reached out to the parents? You think that they went to the funeral? The shooting that happened in South Texas at the school. You think the governor went to any funeral?
That's crazy.
You had 19 chances.
Yeah.
You had 19 chances to go to a funeral to show support. You did nothing.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah, these are your leaders, though.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta get in. Y'all gotta vote, though.
Yeah.
If you don't vote, they don't go anywhere.
Yep.
They continue to make your life hard. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-choice, so I'm gonna vote that way.
Yeah.
And if you feel pro-choice, then you need to be taking a look at your governor and what he stands for. You need to take a look at your senators and what they stand for. You need to take a look at your representatives and what they stand for locally. These are the people that represent you.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more information on how to look at that stuff, message me. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If you got my number, text me, email me. We got an email for flight. I'll drop it in the comments. I'll drop it in the little bio. Email the questions. Email it. I promise you, I'll help you get the resources you need to find the information you need. You want to know how to register to vote? Listen, these are the types of things we want to do in the community. Set up a table and talk about, hey, you need to, vote. Hey, here's what's going on in the world, in the community. Here's what's going on locally. Here's what you need to know about what's going on in your community. These are the types of things that I want to start getting in place.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to take it old school, knocking door to door. Like, hey, do you know that they're trying to build a prison up the street from these apartments? Right. Do you know they're trying to build this highway above, to bring in more traffic? Do you know these things?
Right. Do
you know that you have a voice and a say so, and we can vote against these things happening?
Man.
I'm just saying, people don't know. Back in the day, they went door to door. We got to get back to the basics, man. We got to get out in the community.
Yeah, and one big thing that I think when it comes to community is, like I said earlier, about pawn shops and rent-a-center. It really, at a high level, it comes down to the basics. Like I said, there are some people out there. I know a lady by the name of Lou Jean Guy. She teaches a financial literacy course for free. Nice. And it's crazy because those resources are there. There are people who are actually passionate about helping the community, but those people are the ones that lack support. They can't get the support. Yeah. And in order to break this thing, of, oh yeah, I got this and I got that, but we're really falling behind. And one thing I like to say, well, I don't like to say it, but we are the top consumers, black people, are the top consumers in this country, but overall we're the least paid. Exactly. So how are we spending more?
We spend more than we make, and that's why a lot of us are in debt. Let's just be real. But that goes back to community. We expect the schools to teach us financial literacy. They'll never do that. Yeah. And that goes back to the last episode. The American education system was designed that way. Why would I teach you how to be financially literate? That would make you financially free. Why would I do that?
Yep.
I don't get to make money off of you like that. So
Yep.
that boils back down to that. We as a community got to teach our kids, got to teach our community credit. We got to teach them debits. We got to teach them about loans, about mortgages. But in order to teach these things, we got to know these things.
Yep.
And so we've been on our research tip, and we've been doing our due diligence so that when we have kids, they know what not to do.
Right. At
We're
least
the
they
trial
know.
and error middle child, like J. Cole said. Legit. Like, a lot of people don't know how new the crediting system is. The 1980s.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Right.
The credit system is that young. It's only 40 years old.
Yep.
40 years max.
And they still talk about it like it's brand new.
And they treat it as though credit is such an old concept. And what I mean by that is you have the older generation saying, oh, y'all can't afford this, y'all can't afford that. Well, back when you were doing things, there was no credit. There was IOU, and your word was your bond.
Right.
And a house was like $30,000.
Right.
But go off.
Right.
But for real though, guys, we have to get more involved in community. We have to start creating plans of action. We can't just talk about it, y'all. We got to be about it. And that is the goal for 2022 and beyond. Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. What are we going to do to make a change? I know I'm going to start by voting. I'm going to start by educating myself as well as the people around me and creating senses of community.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Dash, hey, we can start it right here. We can start figuring out a plan to go around and start talking to people because that's how you create senses of community. People want to feel protected, for one.
Yep.
That's how you create a strong foundation. They have to be able to trust you.
Yep.
So your word has to be your bond. And then you have to be able to deliver. You can't just say, oh, we're going to XYZ and then we never hear from you again.
Right.
You got to show me something. So I'm very interested in getting out here in the community and making things happen. And we can start from a local scale, and it can become a regional thing, which eventually becomes a national thing, a global thing. But we got to start somewhere.
Right.
We making history, guys. In 2022, right now, you listening to the Flight Podcast,
Absolutely.
guys.
And this is a game changer because it's just about and it doesn't have to be about getting everybody on board. This is something that can start as a small fire. And turn into something much bigger.
Absolutely.
I think that as long as you look within yourself and see, something that you're just dissatisfied with. If you're tired of making payments on furniture, on cars, on anything, then just take that emotion and really drag it back to the root. Why am I upset? Because I should have made a better decision. I could have bought this cash from somewhere, but I wanted something to just look brand new. Why do you want something that looks brand new? You watching all the Drake videos, and he says, "Oh, you sleeping on this and that." So, whatever.
Listen, social media has changed the game for real
life.
Because a lot of people spend their time comparing themselves to what they see online, not knowing 9 times out of 10 that shit ain't real.
Right.
And I think again back to the middle child thing. We grew up in a generation where there was no internet, and then there was.
Right.
There was no cell phone where you could do all these great things on it than there was. Mm-hmm. And so we know what it's like to not have these things, to not see these things, but we still find ourselves comparing ourselves to the things we see. But at the same time, in the back of our mind, we're like, well, this ain't even real. This could really be very much a facade.
Yep.
But it doesn't change the fact that we feel some type of way about what we see.
Right.
I mean, we even see these places where they got these little rooms you can go into, and it look like you're on a plane. It look like you in Vegas. It look like you can make it look like you're something you're not, and you can put it online, and people will believe it.
Right.
But that's why I say you got to research for yourself because everything that glitters ain't gold. I promise you.
Absolutely.
I promise you. A lot of these people that's showing you this life ain't living it. So don't stress yourself out trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm telling you, do what you can. Do what you can and figure out the rest as you go.
Right.
Your goal is to become financially free. And it starts with financial education, which starts with you doing something about your financial situation. I know you don't want to rent forever.
Right.
You want to own something. I know I do. I don't want to pay rent forever.
That's
I'm not paying rent forever.
Yeah, it's just the way advertising is set up. As soon as you pay something off, they're shoving everything back in your face.
Absolutely.
Buy this, buy this.
It's like, oh, you did such a great job making payments. Here's a little bit more money so you can buy some more stuff.
Here's some more payments. You can put
It's like,
anything on a payment plan.
actually, I'm good. I'm gonna actually use this money I was paying you guys with. I'm gonna save it now so I can have a little cushion. You know, that's another thing, y'all. We gotta get savings accounts and emergency funds.
Something.
You listen. It's a lot of we got a lot of work to do in the community, man.
Yeah, stop buying. I'm not gonna say stop buying. Think before you buy the Apple Watch. Think before you buy the new whatever Charger, Demon, Hellcat. Just think before you buy it. You know, sometimes all you gotta do is just take a second.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something that Dash told me when I first met him. He told me them liabilities don't matter. He probably don't even remember them. Them liabilities don't matter. It's the assets is where it's at.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Them shoes, that car, them clothes, those are liabilities.
Yeah.
Those will never make you money.
Never.
Sorry. Nothing you do
Now,
with those things will make you money.
Yeah.
No, that's different. But what I
yeah.
mean is you just going and buying Jordans. You going and buying, Adidas and Reebok and whatever, Nike. If you're not sponsored by these people,
right,
they ain't paying you. This ain't making you no money. That's a liability.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to create some assets and then use the money from the assets. You can go buy them liabilities, but you need something to be making you money. Absolutely. And that was one of the greatest things that I needed to hear in 2019. And that jump started me saying, you know what? I need to start telling people this because if I don't know these things, there's other people that don't know these things. Right. If I don't know the importance of these things making money for me, other people don't. And so that's how we got here. That's how we got into a lot of things. That's how I started realizing I wanted to be financially free and I wanted to be able to go buy and do whatever I wanted to without having to borrow. And if I did borrow, not having some crazy interest rate, I want to have a 0 interest rate or a 1%, not a 27 or 160. They be doing that crazy stuff. So yeah, it's important to just stay educated and use your resources when you got them, man.
Absolutely. There's plenty of ways to do everything. Just, change your mindset on, it's little changes. Like, instead of asking yourself, can I afford this? Ask yourself, what could I do to just buy this outright?
Yep.
What does it take? If it costs $100, let's say you make $10 an hour. That costs you 10 hours worth of your time.
Yep.
Your time that you can't get back to buy something that will eventually go away.
Yep.
Is it worth it, to put it on payments? Or would you just wait to buy it outright? Just little things.
Wait till you actually have it.
Yeah. Just little things, just that community transformation. Just the simple things. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Can make a world of difference to start turning a new leaf.
Facts, man. Listen, I always saying is get involved in your community, get to know your people, educate your community, help each other out. We're our own village, so we got to take care of each other. Create community plans of actions, goals, see what you can do. Go door to door, knock on the doors, get to know people, talk about what's going on, talk about how y'all can make things better in your community. Take care of these kids, man.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Start in your house first.
Got to.
You don't got to just go out here and just try to be Superman or Superwoman and do it all at once. Start in your own house first. Yeah. See how it goes.
Yep, and your kids are going to be the example because they're going to leave that house and they're going to talk about what they know. Believe that, and you're going to want it to be something good. So be the ones teaching your kids. Don't let the streets be the ones teaching your kids, man. Sure. This is the Flight Podcast, man.
Yes, it is.
We hope y'all enjoy. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, and follow. Yep. You can catch us on Spotify, Google,
anything,
YouTube, anywhere a podcast can be heard. The Flight Podcast is there. Yep. This has been MeseeMee and your boy
Dallas.
For sure. Like, subscribe, and follow. We out.